Alright guys, so once you've got your product outline created and you know exactly what you're going to be talking about, this video is going to show you how to take that outline and turn it into your first product that we're going to go ahead and sell. So now we're going to cover how to actually create your product. Okay, now look, you can go ahead and watch this video, but obviously don't proceed to this step until you have your point A to point B outline complete, like we talked about in the last video. Make sure that that outline is step by step and makes sense and gets people from point A to point B so that you could hand it to a normal person and they could basically get it. They could understand, oh, okay, well, if my marriage isn't working, I do this and then this and then this and then this, and then that's how I get to where I need to be. All right. So here's how you create your product as quickly as possible. Now, this is something I did not understand when I first got started. Okay. So my first product, I actually decided to write an ebook. And in fact, it turned into one ebook turned into a series of 4 ebooks, and those 4 ebooks were like 200 and something pages. I think like almost 300 pages. It was a mess. It took weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. Now I do it using video, just like I'm doing now, and it works better. It's a much more efficient way to communicate information, and it also has a higher perceived value. Whereas people might pay, I don't know, $27, $47, whatever for an ebook, people will generally pay much more for a video course if you want to charge more. Okay, so the fastest way to create products is to do a video screencast, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. You don't have to appear on camera. You don't have to sit there and grind out a book. It's the kind of thing you can do very quickly. So all you have to do is take your product outline and export it into PowerPoint or Keynote if you have a Mac to make a slideshow. And then what you do is record that slideshow using Camtasia if you have a PC or ScreenFlow if you have a Mac. Now both of those cost money, or there's a website called screencastomatic.com which is free. And basically what you're going to do is take your information, organize it into a slideshow just like I've done here, just like you're watching, and then you're going to go through that slideshow and talk your way through it. So then you just talk your way through your presentation as you advance through your slides, recording along the way. Now listen, do not try to make it perfect, okay? Because that's going to make it take forever, and we want to start selling as quickly as possible. So just get it done, okay? Now, if you want to make it fancy, both Keynote and PowerPoint have built-in themes, animations, transitions, all that stuff, and they're pre-built, they're pre-installed, and they look great. So just grab one of those. Do not overthink this, and just do one video per milestone and one introductory video that gives people sort of an overview of the whole system, explains what your product does, who you are, and all that stuff. Okay? And yes, it's perfectly okay to do this entire thing under a pen name if you want to. If you want, you can consult a lawyer for specifics about that. I can't give you legal advice, but I know that it is okay to do a product under a pen name as long as you don't create like a whole fake identity for yourself. And like if I, created a character called, Gus Gaffino, who is a doctor of podiatry, and then I created a product about how to have better feet or something like that. That's different. That's creating a whole fake identity, which is not okay. But for me to do with the whole fake biography and fake credentials and all that stuff, obviously that's fraudulent. But it's okay for you to do just a pen name. All right? Does that make sense? So creating your video slideshow using PowerPoint works like this. Okay, so this is how I actually go about setting these up in PowerPoint, okay, setting up these sorts of presentations. Okay, so the first thing that I do is I just start with a blank presentation here. The first thing I do is click Design, then I click Page Setup, and I like to set it to 16 by 9. And what that does is it makes it widescreen instead of like 4 by 3, which is like what the old TVs used to look like. This is more like, you can see it's like a bigger rectangle, like sort of like what a flat screen TV looks like today. Okay. Then the second thing I like to do is I like to go to all these beautiful themes up here at the top and just pick one. So let me just mouse over some of these so you can see how they look. So here's a nice one right here. Here's another one here and another one here. Literally you can use any one of these to create your product. Literally anything that you like. This is one that I've used before that I really like. You can pick this one. You can change the whole color scheme. There's all these different colors here that you can pick. Let me see. Like you can see the colors changing there. So, you can pick a theme, change the color scheme, do whatever you want to do. So like this is nice with the green, for example. Okay. So I kind of like this one here. This is one called Austin. and it tends to create pretty good slideshows. So again, there's different custom color schemes here too. I'll use this blue, which is kind of nice. So let's say that you were doing a product about kayaking. So you just click this and you just edit it. Kayaking made easy by Carl Kayak Esquire. Or whatever your name is. Okay, so then you right click this and you go to new slide, and that's automatically going to take you to this slide here where you have a title and you have bullet points. Now most of your slides are going to be like that, but if you right click this thumbnail over here on the right, and you go over to layout, you can see that they have all different layouts: title slides, title content, section headers. So they have a bunch of different styles of slides, different layouts of slides you can choose from, but most of the time you'll be working with title and content. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that. Let me just do this. So what you need to know, right? And then you just grab your outline that you've created and start putting the bullet points in there. Now I usually create my outlines inside Workflowy, so let me just pull that up really quickly here. Okay, so here's Workflowy. In fact, this is the outline of this course. So you can see fundamentals. Here's the story. Here's the outline I created for the fundamentals video. Here's the one I created for the strategy video. So what you can do is just take your outline, and you don't have to use Workflowy for this. I just like it, and you can start pasting it into PowerPoint. So where's PowerPoint? Here we go. So yeah, you can just start pasting it into PowerPoint. So like, I'm just gonna go ahead and paste that in. It's like what we want, the money tree. So let me just put that here. Hold on a second. I'm having a tough time switching between my windows here. Let's do this. Okay, great. So the first thing is what we want, the money tree. I would just grab that, paste that here. What we want, the money tree. Now that's spilling off a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and click home. I'm going to click this down arrow, make it a little bit smaller. What we want, the money tree. Now I'm going to take the first bullet point, copy, and paste. Passive income that we control that brings us in money on autopilot and sets us free to live the life we want. What's your number? How much would it cost for you to live the life you've dreamed of? This should all seem very familiar to you. This is from the video that you watched earlier. For the sake of example, we'll say this number is $10,000 a month, and I'll go ahead and do that. Now that's there. Now you notice it automatically resizes. Okay, really simple. So now if I was going to create this slideshow, what I would do is click this box here, because that's going to affect all three of these. And what I'd like to do is click animations and click fade. And what that's going to do is make it so that these things appear one at a time. All right. So anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll do that for all of my slides, and I'll create all my slides. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to go ahead and hit slideshow, and I'm going to hit from beginning. And then, hold on a second, I'm going to hit setup slideshow, browsed by an individual in a window, and I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to go ahead and say from current slide, and there's our slideshow. So what I would do is just record this using Screencast-O-Matic or using Camtasia or using ScreenFlow or whatever program you want. Now I'd say, hey everybody, what's up? I'm Carl Kayak. Welcome to Kayaking Made Easy, and in this course I'm going to blah 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 blah. All right, so let's get started. The first thing we want to do, what we want, is the money tree. Now a money tree is a passive income that we control that brings us in money on autopilot, sets us free to live the life we want. What's your number? How much would it cost for you to live the life you're dreaming of? For the sake of example, blah 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 blah. You see what I'm saying? And that's it. And you just go through the thing and you talk through it. And so one video should be one milestone. Now, if you want, I mean, you can always add more stuff to this. Like if I wanted to put like a picture of something in here, I could insert like clip art if I want. Hang on. Like if I don't know, there's like it comes with built-in images. You can pull images from the web if you have the rights to them. You know what I mean? You can put this here, resize it, make it nice. I mean, there's even buttons at the top to give it like a reflection or put like a shadow around it or put like a border around it. It's all right here at the top. You can rotate it. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do. I mean, you can do all kinds of fancy transitions and images and stuff like that, but don't play around with that too much. Just because the bottom line is people don't really want a beautiful slideshow. What people want is they want to get the information in the quickest and most efficient way possible. Okay, so let me say this now. Here's another little trick. PowerPoint, at least, and I'm pretty sure Keynote has something similar, has something built in called Smart Art. So if I go ahead and click Insert and I click Smart Art, these are all these sort of different fancy charts that you see me using. So like here's one with a cycle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click that. It puts it here. I'm going to go ahead and resize it so it's the right size. And then if I open this, I can put text number 1, in the different bullet points, text number 2, or in the different circles rather, text number 3. So et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then you take this and using these things up here, you can change the look of it. You can see now it's like lighter, and now it's got a shadow. Now it's got a reflection. Now it's like got weird indentations and stuff. So this is all stuff that's built in, and it looks, it looks pretty slick. This will even, if I mouse over this, you can see it changes it to like a perspective thing. This makes it lay flat on the ground. So there's like all kinds of just cool graphics and stuff built in. And honestly, I don't even think this is that I have the newest version of PowerPoint. I think the newest version does even more stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and double click this, and I'm going to go back to the animations tab. I'm going to hit fade. And then if you go to effect options, you can set it so that it all appears at once, or you can have them appear one by one, like this. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go back to our slideshow view from current slide. And so now, when I mouse through it, you can see it does these cool little animations. And that took what, like 5 seconds? So it's all built in. So don't get hung up on, creating this giant epic video that's like filled with special effects and all this stuff. Just take your outline that you create inside Workflowy and just import it directly into PowerPoint, turn it into a slideshow, talk through it, and then use Camtasia or Screencast-O-Matic or Keynote or ScreenFlow or whatever you want to use to go ahead and record it. And that's it. That's all that you need to do. Now, as I said before, do not edit yourself. Just create these videos as quickly as possible without going back and editing. Now, you can see there's some parts in this videos when I've like messed up, or I've said the wrong thing, or I coughed, or I take a sip of my coffee, or whatever. Leave that stuff in. And the reason why is because people want to know that they're dealing with a real person. They don't want to know that, they don't want to feel like it's some weird corporate, McDonald's-ish, like cookie cutter product that they bought here. They want to know that this is real wisdom from a real human being, okay? So don't edit yourself and don't worry about making it perfect. And another reason why is that once you start editing, you will not stop. And it'll make this whole process take way longer than it should. You're going to go back and you're going to edit this, and you're going to edit something else, and it's going to end up taking 5 times as long as it should have taken, okay? So that's it. All you have to do is do your research, create your outline, take that outline, paste it into PowerPoint, grab Camtasia or Keynote or whatever, go in there and create your videos, and boom, you now have a product to sell. It's just that simple. Now, I know it's outside of your comfort zone. I know your brain is going 100 miles an hour going, I can't do this. I want you to fight through that, and I want you to do it anyway. Like I said, it's going to take guts and it's going to take tenacity, and I know that you can do this. So just go forth and do it, and don't make it any more complicated than it needs to be, okay? I believe in you. Get it done. I'll catch you in the next video.